Hello and welcome to Legal View Network. This is Eye on AI. I'm Michael Ayala. Thank you so much for joining me today. On today's show, I'm going to take you through the legal battle going on right now between the music industry and the AI companies as they try to coexist in this brave new world. And as you can see, this episode is called How AI Battles Are Breaking and Remaking the Music Industry. Because really, folks, that's really what's going on here. There's a breaking and a remaking, a reimagining of the music industry. Now, I want to play a song for you that started it all. It really all started with this song. It's a song that really it shook up the music industry. Take a listen. It's a very good song, and it is. You'll know who it sounds like and who it's supposed to be right off the bat. So here, take a listen. Metro made the beat, so you know that it's gon' slap. It's gon' slap. Time run it back. Talking to a diva, yeah, she on my nerves. She think that I need her, kick her to the curb. All I know is you could've had the world, yeah, you were my world. Got these girls All right, so you gotta admit, it's called Heart on My Sleeve. And as I said, it was created by a mysterious producer by the name of Ghost Rider. And you gotta admit, it sounded just like Drake and The Weeknd. If I played that for you at a party, no one would know. But it wasn't them. That's clear. It was AI-generated vocals mimicking the voices and the music stylings of Drake and The Weeknd. Now, the song's good. The video's but the song is good. It's real good. And actually, the video wasn't great, but it went viral. And perhaps concerning of all for the music industry was that it was free. And it also was or created this legal nightmare that exposed a huge gap in our legal system, a regulatory vacuum that spurred tons of litigation and is currently transforming the law and the music industry. So that's what I want to talk about today. So that fake Drake and Weeknd song used an AI voice model trained on the voices of both artists. And the original TikTok video, get this, had over 11 million views within days. It just took days. And the song itself got over 600,000 streams on Spotify. The track caught the music industry off guard. And industry executives and artists alike realized there needed to be some serious conversations about copyright law and artists' likenesses. All right? You see, if AI copies lyrics or samples a specific recording, the major labels, they can sue the creator. Federal copyright law has that covered. The expression of that musical idea is protected by federal copyright. The question for us now is, what if AI copies your style? Right? What if it steals your unique vocal timbre, I think they call it, and your entire persona? Right now, federal law doesn't explicitly protect an artist's voice. So in order to protect themselves, their investments, and their artists, the music industry has gone to war with generative AI. And it is a war on many fronts, including there's copyright litigation involved, which we'll talk about. There's actually aggressive legislation and legislative lobbying going on for identity rights for these artists. And now we're seeing the creation of strategic partnerships designed to create a new ecosystem within the music industry that benefits the artist and the industry, and I guess as well as AI. So first, I want to look at landmark copyright litigation. Let's start there. What's going on as far as litigation is concerned. Now, this is about what AI learns on, right? AI couldn't do what it does without artists producing music. And in early 2026, music giants UMG, Concord, Abco, they filed a lawsuit against Anthropic. Those are the creators of Claude. And they were demanding, or are still demanding, damages over $3 billion. Their core argument is simple. AI models just don't learn patterns. They often memorize and regurgitate training data. They actually brought evidence to court showing that AI outputted lyrics and melodies that are almost identical to existing hits. As I said, that would be wrong. You can't copy what someone else did. That expression, that music is covered by copyright. You can take other people's music, use it as inspiration. You can combine it with other things to create something new. But you can't use the exact thing. So they're saying that's actually what AI is doing. And it actually mirrors lawsuits that I told you guys about earlier, filed by the publishing industry, making basically the same claims. In the case of the New York Times versus OpenAI, they claim AI is using books and articles written by New York Times reporters to train on, and that they should have to pay for that, first of all. And then the stuff that they're producing is often taken word for word from the training material, which, of course, as I said, would violate copyright. But the music industry fight isn't just about lyrics. Recording Industry Association of America, they represent major labels like Sony and Warner. They're now suing specialized music generators like Suno and Udio. They allege that these startups built their models by stream ripping. What that means is they went in and got millions of copyrighted recordings from platforms like YouTube and Spotify, et cetera, Tidal, circumventing key encryption protections in direct violation of the Digital Copyright Act. So that's a copyright fight, and they're vital, but that still leaves the issue of voice cloning and deep fakes. This brings us to the second front of the war, because currently there is no federal law that stops an AI or AI from impersonating your entire identity. I was shocked to find this out. And that's why a song like, you know, Heart on My Sleeve, it didn't really trigger any copyright alarms. Once UMG tried to take it down, it ended up going back up again because they were right. They said, we're not really violating any copyright laws. And that's what started this whole scramble. And this whole thing is sort of called the right of publicity, right? The right to use your name and likeness for the way you want to use it. And so right now, as far as the legal battle is concerned and legislatively, the state of Tennessee is actually at the forefront right now of this battle. Of course, Tennessee's the home to Graceland, Dolly World, Grand Ole Opry. So fittingly, they were actually the first state to take action in the form of laws and legislation. In 2024, they enacted the landmark Elvis Act, great name, making Tennessee the first state to recognize an artist's voice as a protected property right. Think about how important that is. This allows artists to sue AI developers for unauthorized voice replicas, whether or not a specific song was copyrighted. So that's good. That's powerful. And nationally, the industry is lobbying for similar protections on the federal level. There's something going on right now called the No Fakes Act. That was initially introduced back in 2024, believe it or not, but it actually failed to advance past the House. But it was reintroduced in 2025 with broad bipartisan support. Now, if passed, this will create a uniform federal right of publicity, protecting every American's voice and likeness from unauthorized AI use. Again, your voice, my voice, we're not singers, we're not making money. But there are plenty of announcers, TV personalities whose voice is a big part of who they are. But just you as a person, right now, there are no laws to stop someone from going online, taking your likeness, taking your voice, and putting it out there and doing things with it, creating those AI models, those avatars. That law, if it passes, the No Fakes Act would protect you and me and protect artists as well. Now, on another front, the industry's approach is actually very smart and very progressive. Despite these lawsuits, major labels, they really aren't trying to kill AI. They know that AI is unavoidable, and they know if used properly, it can be profitable. And that's what these companies are all about. That's what this is all about. It's about profit. These AI large language models are cutting into the profit of newspapers, for instance, because if you can search on AI for information, you don't need to go to the website for the New York Times. They're going to call that information, boil it down, and give it to you. Sometimes they say regurgitate it to you. right? Same thing with music. If you can get music free because somebody's creating something that sounds as good as Heart on My Sleeve, that's going to cut into their profits. So they have to find a way to a profitable future. All right. So what they're doing is they're trying to come up with these strategic partnerships. In fact, UMG just settled their litigation just recently with Udio. That's that music producing uh, large language model. And they're now collaborating on a new licensed AI music platform that's going to launch in 2026. The platform will be trained only on authorized content, creating a legal, what they're calling human centric ecosystem. What that means is that the artist and the company that produces this music, markets this music, holds on to this music, publishes this music, is going to be able to benefit from it because right now they're not benefiting at all. So we're seeing that strategic shift really across the board. UMG is also, they're sort of at the forefront of this, as you can see. They're partnering with YouTube for an AI music incubator. Platforms like Tidal, they're announcing plans to tag AI music and block it from earning royalties, dedicated entirely to protecting that human royalty pool. And artists themselves, they're not staying quiet at all. That's another front where this is being fought. Some of the most powerful artists are fighting back. Taylor Swift, for instance, she's recently applied for sound marks. Now, this isn't copyright. This is trying to trademark specific timbre and character of a voice, and if she's successful, it'll provide her with a very powerful alternative route against any AI impersonators. Now, that is truly landmark if that happens. Trademark is legally defined as any word, name, or symbol or device used to designate or distinguish its source, like my logo, for instance. And that isn't going to all depend on whether the courts are going to be willing to extend that trademark definition to protect human characteristics. Because right now it doesn't protect human characteristics. But I think there's a strong argument to be made that artists like Drake, The Weeknd, Taylor Swift, what makes them special, I think they should be able to trademark. It is what distinguishes them. Their industry is music, the music they make, the way they rhyme, the way they sing, the way they perform is what makes them and separates them from others. I think there's a strong legal argument for it. We'll have to wait and see. But I think under one umbrella or the other, you're going to find that that's going to be protected either under copyright or trademark. You're going to find these things protected. So as you can see, the battle is not just about temporary viral trends like Heart on My Sleeve. It's about building a stable legal ecosystem for the future of entertainment. And that seems to be the direction we're heading. The record industry is defining AI on its terms or trying to through that combination of copyright lawsuits, new laws, trying to find new trademark laws, laws like Elvis and the No Fakes Act, and the establishment of these profitable authorized licensing models that we've been talking about, these sort of deals. So in conclusion, I gotta say, the future looks bright. These big companies are going to find a way to coexist. They adapt. That's what they do. And they're going to stay profitable. They're going to survive. In the music industry and in industry in general, uh, the mantra is adapt or die. So they will adapt. And our favorite artists, folks, they're here to stay. The music of the future may be AI generated, but the profits and the rights must remain in the pockets of those who make it all possible. Because remember, without the training provided by all the great artists in the world, AI would be lost. Without all the great writers and reporters and musicians and producers, what would AI train on? Think about it. I mean, I would love to think about a world where none of that existed. Could AI create that on its own? I don't know. I don't think so. It needs information. All right. Folks, I just want to remind you we had a fantastic week here on the Legal View Network. I released my article on the power of the prosecutor on Monday, And I talk about the power of the prosecutor through the lens of the Carmelo Anthony case and how much the power of the prosecutor really directed the outcome in that case. Tuesday, we dropped the latest episode of In Session, where Judge Ashley Wilcott and we broke down the latest legal stories. Wednesday, we dropped Eye on AI, the music industry versus AI. Thursday, we dropped Make It Make Sense with Mike and Marie Pereira. Friday, I have a special edition of Legal View. I'm going to have a conversation with trial consultant and criminal behavior analyst Dr. Sunny Slaughter about her work on the Carmelo Anthony case. So you definitely do not want to miss that. All right. I'm Michael Ayala. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been Eye on AI for the Legal View Network, and I'm Michael Ayala. Have a great night.